In previous videos, I have talked about how you can go from being a good human to being an evil human. You don't have to have sociopathy or psychopathy or any of the other psychological problems that can predispose a person to perform acts of evil. No demons are required. All it takes is that you voluntarily or involuntarily follow a series of actions that lead you farther and farther and farther astray from what you believe is right, from what you believe is acceptable. It can be baby steps, and you will eventually get to that place that you never thought you would be. And you will hate yourself. If you are a moral person, if you have ethical objections to things like abuse and torture and murder and so on, rape, whatever, one day you'll find yourself in that position and you will hate yourself. And because you hate yourself, you'll be more cruel, not only to your victims, but also to your loved ones. Because you will feel unworthy of their love. And when you feel unworthy of their love, you push them away in order to protect them, in order to punish yourself. So, whether you do it by choice or not, whether you do it because of culture or religion or politics or some other reason, like you join a criminal gang, it doesn't matter. The result is step by step you go from these little minor infractions of your beliefs into larger ones and larger ones and larger ones until you don't even recognize yourself anymore. You are cutting limbs off of corpses and the head off the corpses in order to get rid of the bodies in the best way possible. You're committing atrocities. Which brings us to the other point of this video. Not only can you go from being a good person to being a bad person, to committing horrible atrocities, but if you are in a combative situation where you are being told that the people that are on the other side, your opponents or enemies, are not human, or they're monstrous, or they are demons, or there's something that makes them to you really horrible, you will treat them that way, even if it's not true, because you have embraced it, you have chosen to believe it. You will treat them in a way that you feel is appropriate for something that is not human. And therefore, by treating other humans in that way, where you torture them, where you humiliate them over and over again, where you treat them like garbage, like monsters, you become a monster. You become a person who puts on social media videos showing you doing these things to people. And yet most of you will cover your face because on some level you know what you're doing is wrong. And yet you won't stop. And if we look all around us, we can see these examples everywhere. You look at gangs where children are brought into the gangs at a young age. And they're indoctrinated in this cycle of violence, of escalating violence, until by the time they're 18, if they're still alive, if they haven't been murdered because they're in a gang and haven't been killed by a rival gang, they're either in jail or going to be dead before they're an adult, for the most part. And the same thing happens in countries torn apart by civil war, where children are kidnapped and forced to do horrible things to the people they care about until they become monstrous and turn on the very people they should be protecting, because that's what they've been trained to do. And if we look at Israel, that's just another example of people, good people, becoming monsters. All you have to do is look at the videos and the photographs of them treating Palestinians or supposed Palestinians, supposed terrorists, some of which are just innocent people in the right place at the wrong time, like they're not human anymore. Holding them down, stepping on their heads, stripping them down to their underwear, and making them exposed to everyone. Murdering them. Shooting children in the head when the children have done nothing wrong. In the heart. Because they want to kill the child. Because they don't view them as human children anymore. They view them as abominations, as monsters. And so, the Israeli soldiers, and perhaps also the Palestinian soldiers, have become monsters. Literal monsters. And the ones who have a heart, who know they're doing wrong, hate themselves. And they're consumed by their self-loathing. They're consumed by hatred and anger at themselves. You're torn apart. This is what Netanyahu is doing to his own people. He's turning the Israeli people into monsters. With his distorted understanding of reality, with his unmitigated hatred, and his unwillingness to compromise in any meaningful way. And so the story has gone for decades, since before I was born, 1,000,000 years ago. If you are in a situation where you are being asked to perform something, it could be something small, but it's something you know is wrong, eventually they will ask you to do something more and more and more and more and more. And one day you will be a monster too. Please, Israel, act like God's children. Not like monsters. Not like demonic abominations from the pits of hell. Do not be jubilant in the misery of your opponents that you have captured and subjugated, just as your ancestors were subjugated by the Nazis and other groups. Because then you are no better than those who used to persecute you. You have become the worst.
I'm sorry to do this, but I need to ask for your help. Because Amazon and Sedgwick won't take responsibility for the injury I sustained at work, that is going to cause me to have my shoulder replaced on November 29th of 2024. I'm going to be off of work for 3 to 4 months, and the pay that I'll be getting from Amazon during that time, because Sedgwick will not pay me anything, will be after taxes and benefits, probably somewhere in the area of $10, maybe $12, something like that, per hour of a 40-hour week. And so that's going to be very financially troublesome for me, to put it mildly. I mean, just my rent alone is like $1,150, and then there are all the other expenses. I do have some help, but I do appreciate it if anybody is willing to help. You can join my channel, Glenn's Fast Reviews, or you can go to patreon.com/GlennMII and become a member there. If you can't safely do that, please don't, though. I don't want anybody financially getting into trouble trying to help me. That would just that would make me feel really, really bad, as if somehow I was responsible for the choice you made, even though it was your choice. So if you can't, that's okay. It's okay. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a great day.